Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're jumping back into some more FTB Skies. And as you can see behind me, today we're going to be working on DT fuel production, and of course, many other things. So I hope you guys are ready. So today is going to be a mechanical day, definitely. We're going to be diving into some more mechanism, and mainly to help complete that bottom row quest line. Now, I've already got all of this section done, and we have almost everything ready to go on the bottom section, but we do need to get started with this section. And this is going to require a lot of power, which is going to be quite easy to obtain. That I'm not concerned about, but getting ourselves liquid DT fuel, because I'm actually unfamiliar with that part of Mekanism. I believe this goes into the fusion reactor, and I've never set up a fusion reactor. However, we do need to make the fuel for this, and I am very familiar with all the machines required to make these things. So let's dive right in to Mekanism. Now, since we're going to be diving into Mekanism, I've got to have my spacesuit on because we are going to be traveling back onto the moon for this. The big part of getting that DT fuel, believe it or not, is actually setting up evaporation chambers. Now, to actually get the tritium, what we're going to need is lithium. And lithium is an important part in this mod to, for one, make the induction cells for the big batteries that Mekanism has, but it's also used in this process. Now we need liquid lithium, and of course that is going to go into a condensating machine, and we are going to have 2 evaporation chambers, one set up for making brine, and then one converting brine into lithium. And this isn't that hard to do, and it's actually pretty fast. Now, real quick, before diving into all the other stuff, there is one thing I have to fix, and, well, I need to nip this in the bud. And, that is fluorite. I do not have enough fluorite being generated from just this one thing. So, I'm instead going to set up another line that is going to pull from the gravel here. And these are all going to be gravel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter out specifically what I need from that gravel, and all of the ore and everything else that I have too much of is going to be filtered into the trash can. To do that, it'll just be as simple as having 2 importers go into this. So there'll be an import here, and this is going to have a filter in it. And then on the other side right here, that's going to have one with another filter, and this will be a filter that is going to be a whitelist, whereas this is going to be a blacklist, and we're going to basically blacklist fluorite from being trash, and that should allow everything else to go into this. So the whitelist is going to look a little bit like this. We're going to be allowing coal and these items in, but over here on this deny list, we are going to be denying these from going in here, which should mean everything else should go into this can. Now, to get the items in here, I'm actually going to be utilizing this. Now, I am going to need a node overclocker inside of each one of these in order for this to function properly, because we're going to have inputting and outputting from the same area. But inside this, I'm going to set this to channel orange. That way we don't have any conflicts when I go to put a card over here, for example. And this is going to be an insert card where I'm also extracting. We're going to make sure we have this set to this channel and make sure that will send the gravel to all of these. And then I just got to simply hook a gear up to this. Now for the moment of truth to see if this is all going to work. And I think it is. So we should now see diamonds and coal building up, and also fluorite building up in here. Now that that is done, yes, we have this back online. That was kind of a problem, but we almost have enough antimatter to make a single antimatter. It is slowly but surely on the grind, but I think for a while this was actually offline. It was repetitively turning off because I ran out of fluorite. Now, back into this. That fluorite issue should now be solved. Up top here, I have myself a platform built out. And what I want to do is set up these thermal evaporation chambers. And they're not that difficult to set up. And we're going to be using the ones that use advanced solar generators on top to make them produce faster. And also not take up a large amount of space. Now, setting up the evaporation chamber is quite simple. So what I'm going to be doing is building sort of a base size one that is going to fit perfectly right in here. So it's going to have a 2 by 2 center, just like this, and then we're going to surround the outside with blocks like so. Now I do need a port to input water on this side, and then the output brine over here, and then I'm just going to have my thermal evaporation controller right there. That is needed to be able to see the interface. And then on the outside, this is going to be built up on top of this, And I'm going to go up like this and leave the corners. And the reason I'm leaving the corners is because we are going to then put solar panels right here. And this is going to actually help increase the temperature at which this is going to process materials. This is almost a necessary part for it being this big. Otherwise, you'd have to make it a lot taller. And then the same over here, I'm going to build another one exactly like this. And this is going to be the one that converts the brine into lithium. Now, for the power on these, I went ahead and I'm transferring them directly to the SPS, just giving it more power and making sure these are staying running. Now, let's go ahead and get most of this set up. So we're going to be feeding water into this, going directly into here, and we can open this up and we can see we have heat. All we have to do is now send the water in, and that is going to be converting into brine. And then we can transfer that brine all the way over here, which is pretty darn neat. There we go. We get that hooked up, and then we'll make sure to pull the brine into this one. And then this is going to take that brine and convert it into liquid lithium. What I need to do with that liquid lithium is put it into the condensator. So on the top, on the side config, we're going to have liquids be the input on the top, which is fine. And then we need to convert this. So let's go ahead and just for right now, get this sent in. And we need a point. And we are going to send, actually, I'll just use this point. We will send the power from our main network, not anything else, just from our main. Make sure that has power. And then make sure this is set to pull. And there we go. Now, the reason we need to do this because for the DT fuel to make tritium, we actually need to take regular lithium or gas lithium and convert that to tritium. This is all going to be switching things over to a gas. And so we need to take liquid and we need to decondentrate the stuff. So we need to toggle the operation and send that over into here. Now, in our config, we need to go into the gases, or I'm going to go into the gases here. And we need to make sure the front is going to be an output. I'm going to clear all outputs and make sure the output is this, the front side. And that is where I'm going to send it to this, the activator. And that is going to receive it. And now it is producing tritium, which we are going to use in the future here in just a moment. Now, the other part of DT fuel, well, we can make in this, we kind of can't and kind of can make it on the moon. So DT fuel requires deuterium. Now, to make deuterium, we actually are going to need heavy water, which means we need water. Now, you can't place water on the moon. It'll just turn to ice. So we're going to actually do this in the overworld. But it's very simple. We get ourselves some heavy water. To get heavy water, I'm going to show you here in just a second, but it just needs to go into an electrolytic separator. And then we're also going to be producing oxygen as another byproduct as well. So it's produce deuterium and oxygen. And we just need to sort of combine these two things together to make DT fuel. Now that I'm back in the overworld, let's get that heavy water produced. So right here is going to be an electric pump. And it's just connected right here. And we should be able to put some water down here. But to get heavy water, you have to put in just a regular filter upgrade. That is literally what this is for. Separates heavy water from regular water. And so if we provide that in there and we give it some water, like a bucket of water underneath it, that should then pull heavy water, as you can see right there. However, we do need to provide this with some power and connect it to our main network. So that is where this is going to go. I don't know if this has to go onto the front or what have you. Let's do main. And I guess I have to set this on the top. Or somewhere. Where? Oh, I guess the power goes back here. Ah, so this one has a very specific place power goes. That's actually fine. That's fine. It's just fine. If I can place blocks. There we go. So this should slowly but surely produce heavy water. Of course, speed upgrades are going to be the way to go for this. But we want to send this back. And to do that, I'm going to use an entangle porter. And so the entangle porter, I made a channel called heavy water. And this should just be accepting heavy water and now storing it inside the entangle porter. And we're going to use this to get it back onto the moon. So now for the finale, this is where everything is going to get combined together. So right here we have a chemical infuser. This is how we're actually going to send all of the different items. As you can see, chemical infuser on the right, we can go ahead and send the tritium. And then we need to also make the deuterium. So let's get deuterium processed up. We do want to make sure we have the sides configured before we put any materials in here. So that is going to require an electrolytic separator. And if we remember correctly, the blue is where we want things to go. So if we go to our gas section, which this should be gases, we don't want this outputting on the outside. We want the blue, this outputting over on the right side. So we'll make sure to have just the base blue outputting, auto eject on, and then this is going to have to be, we should be able to set this to dumping excess. Yeah, that should work just fine. And then that's going to fill with heavy water. Now we do need to specify where heavy water is going to go. But I think we should be able to just pipe it over to this, hopefully. Is this considered a fluid? That I don't really know. So heavy water is already configured on this one. It's already set. So let's go ahead and try to use a mechanical pipe. Is heavy water considered a fluid? It doesn't exactly seem that way. I'm going to assume it's like a gas then. Or maybe it just cannot output to the right-hand side. So fluids. There we go. Oh, nope, that works. So we're outputting that to the right-hand side. That's producing oxygen, so it is a regular fluid. And it's producing deuterium at a very, very slow rate. We don't have power going into it yet. And deuterium is now filling up. And then the only thing left to do is to pull the lithium out of here and pipe it into the chemical infuser. And this is going to be a Mekanism tube that should be able to handle that. So we are going to send this out over here. And there we go. This should be producing DT fuel now. Now the only thing left to do is to get all of this product put into a tank. And you can see the DT fuel is now inside this tank, getting nice and stored up. And then we need to send this to a screen for the FTB quest line. Actually, that was almost all of the steps, because we also need to use a rotary condensator actually, and we need to turn this back into liquid DT. And so there it goes. So now we have that liquid, and we can set up the side configs and set this to fluids and make sure that the front is going to be accepting. Actually, we need the back to accept and the front to be output and auto eject. And then we should be able to just eject this directly into the screen for this. And so there we go. And now we have that building up, and I just got to get all of these some speed upgrades. So now with our unlimited cosmic power setup done, we should be able to now get our power hooked up to one of these screens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that 25 million RF that we've been producing, and I'm going to shut this off of this one for right now. I can easily just toggle this one off. And what I'm going to do is hook all of that power that we're generating, that 25 million, and we're going to send that to a screen. So this 25 billion won't seem like much once we get this hooked into our SPS power. As you can see, we're already at 1 billion. It's now at 2 billion. And so in literally a couple of minutes, this will be at full 100 billion power. So it is crazy to think that the DT fuel that we are currently producing right here is all coming from water. Just water. So water is provided in here, no other items required. Water then goes into here. Water gets converted again. Like it does cost power to set this up, but it's just water. Even this is heavy water, and then heavy water is then being turned into oxygen and deuterium. And then that gets just combined, these two water substances, into some sort of fuel. It just seems odd, but also cool at the same time. Now, while all of that is doing its thing and getting all processed up, which won't take very long at all, let's work on the Blizz Blitz and other powder. What is it called? I've already forgotten. The Blizz, the Basalts, and the Blitz powder. Oh boy, it's a mouthful. Now, you may be thinking to get these, you have to either go into bees or you have to find them naturally in the world. But you actually do not. So under the Monster Hunter section, there's actually spawners as rewards for these things. So it might not be very clear at first, but we have to clear or kill quite a few blazes. 50, I would say that's not actually quite a few, just a few. But we have to kill some blazes, and we get a Blitz spawner. We also get a Basalt spawner, and even here we get a Blitz spawner. So Blizz, basalts, and blitz. That's pretty nice. And all we have to do is kill some blaze, and we already have a thing that spawns blazes. And that would be this, which is the nether, which is just full of all kinds of mobs here. Blazes not so much, but inside here, blazes do spawn. And so all I have to do is turn this off for right now, which we can turn that off there. And I just have to pop in here and get into this. I love how I can be in here and it causes no problems at all. But I just sort of wait for them to spawn and then I can take them all out. And I think this is off. It actually might not be off. Oh boy, hearing all that. There we go. Now it's turned off. So now I should be able to just kill everything that's in this chamber, including the blazes. Actually, to make this even faster, let's just put it in the mob duplicator and just kill them from there. I think that'll be even faster. And so there we go. That is everything. I feel like I've killed enough blazes at this point. That didn't take very long at all. With that, we should be now ready to get ourselves a spawner. Now, the interesting part is we can place the spawner in here. I think that would be fine placing it in this dimension. Let's open up our quests and let's grab all of these spawners that we get. Of course, I've already gotten the trophy and everything like that. But there we go. So some spawners. Each one of these spawners does its own thing. And I believe these are just base spawners. So we are going to need to place them in an area that is actually dark to do this. Actually, we don't need... we actually don't need it to be dark because we're actually going to modify these. So let's get all of these placed in right here. That's going to be fine. And we can place a soul lantern on these. So they will ignore at that point. There we go. So we may not need to put them into here because we could probably just kill them right here to get all the powder. Oh, this guy is quite the guy. Yeah, we should be able to do this. These are kind of cool. But if we wanted to jumpstart and get a bunch of these, the powder that this produces, yeah, we might want to collect these. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put them in mob imprisonment tools. Now, so long as you have silk touch, you should be able to pick these spawners back up. So you're probably going to want to keep them for later. But for right now, the thing I want to do is I want to get them spawned in here so we have a bunch of these that we can then convert into 64 of each individual types, which we already have enough basalt shards. Apparently we got a pinata out of one of them. So if this is converted and we put this in, okay, so we already have enough of these. But there you go. You can see we got tons of them there. If I put this one in and turn it, that should be plenty for those. Especially if one of them drops like a pinata. And then last but not least, tons of these electric boys. These bad boys, man, they shoot lightning at you. It's kind of crazy looking. Now with all of that fun, we now have all of the ingredients needed. So I just put this in and convert this over into the different powder types. And there we go. We have all of the different thermal series powders. Now if we head back here into space, if I can take my elevator, there we go. We now have everything complete down under the overpowered, and we get ourselves a bunch of experience. We've got this done, which gets us a creative rune. We still have yet to work on this, but we have just about everything else done. And we can go ahead and start prepping all of these other materials. Now, we did end up getting ourselves a creative item, and I kind of want to show off how some of these creative items work, because you may be wondering. Now, this particular creative rune can be slotted into what in this mod calls instruments. So pretty much everything that is on the main instruments page, all of these things that are on this, you can slot this into, and this is going to make its speed go insanely fast, and is basically not going to use any elements in the process of doing that. To get it on there, shift right click onto, for example, this, right? And then you're going to see there's like a little C that is floating around this. And I believe to get it off, we have to shift right click with this. Do not break the machine. It will delete it. So you have to use the rune inscription chisel to get it off by shift right clicking. So you can use this and place it in the machines if you're going to continue going into elemental craft. But for example, let's go ahead and do this and fire. Let's see how fast we can actually craft, like, I don't know, 10 of these or 12. it should now go insanely fast. Whereas before, it took a lot of time. As you can see, now it's pretty much instant to craft these. So now one of the other items that we're going to be working towards is the Gaia Steel. And this right here requires us to use Gaia Spirits. Thankfully, I don't need a whole lot, as we only need 8 of these. But each of these are going to require Terra Steel. So I did farm up the Gaia boss and killed it like 6 more times. That was, of course, nice and fun. So let's go ahead and make 8 of these because that's what it's going to require. And then it's also going to need a little bit of pixie dust and the dragon stone. All of that being combined together. So this is going to be kind of cool looking. When we put this all together on this plate that we already have set up, it's just going to flood this with mana. Like, this is really going to get flooded with mana. And there we go. It converts into the Gaia Steel ingots. And I do want to use this to not only upgrade my stuff, but also complete the quest. So I'm going to make more than 8. But it looks like we can make the upgraded Terra Blade. And we should also be able to make the Gaia Band of Aura and the Gaia Band of Mana. Both, I believe the Gaia Band of Aura is what generates mana for you passively. And this actually doubles the rate at which the Greater Band of Aura already done it. So pretty nice. And then this, of course, holds mana. And I'm assuming this is just going to double even what the Greater Band holds, which is already, I believe, over. I think the tablet holds a half a mana pool. This holds, I believe, a full mana pool. So would this hold 2 mana pools? It seems like that might be the case. And then this has more damage and does, I believe, a stronger mana burst attack. All of which, pretty cool. And it's also a decorative block. But this is going to be required, like I said, right here. So I've got all of these different components put together, and I have it all ready to go. And then we have our Terra Steel Blade, and that upgrades to a Mana Stealing Blade. Very interesting. I wonder what this is going to be like. I thought it was going to shoot red beams. This is our new projectile weapon. 100%. Is there a dummy that we can test this on? There it is. There is definitely a dummy. Let's put this together. Let's test our mana capabilities. How much damage does that do? Oh, does that literally steal life or mana from? It probably steals mana from them. That's what I remember seeing. And then by default, with our current stats, it does 34 damage. Still not really comparable to this, which does 90 damage. But this could be pretty crazy if we had it upgraded. Now, of course, after killing all these, I really wanted to save all of my Dice of Fate specifically for this reason. And we should get everything that there is to offer from the Dice of Fate. Pretty sure I just opened one and it gave me nothing. Yeah, I think we now have officially everything. And every time we open a Dice of Fate, it gives us a rune or gives us an overgrowth seed or gives us some more Gaia spirits, which is always nice. So we now have the Rune of Thor and Loki. Don't really want the Loki. That allows you to sort of do like mine in like 2 different places, sort of. It's kind of a weird thing and hard to explain. This allows us to teleport. This is actually kind of cool. So I can now place that there. That's where it's going to go. And if I right click, it is going to teleport us there. That's pretty cool. So I don't remember if this works cross-dimensionally, but it is pretty cool that we can always get back to a specific location. Very similar to using our charge border. And then, of course, we have the Ring of Thor, which kind of protects us from a lot of negative status effects and things like that. Like, I believe we can't drown and stuff like that with the Ring of Thor. Ah, no, that's definitely Loki, or not Loki. The Ring of Thor affects our Terra Shatter's effect. Like, dramatically increases the Terra Shatter, which is the pickaxe. So it would increase the range. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything to mine here. Otherwise, the Terra Shatter would be quite nice. We could definitely fill that up quite quickly. But yeah, the Terra Shatterer can mine a huge area. So pretty nifty. I guess I clicked that there on accident. But yeah, that is basically it for Botania. We've effectively gone through everything, and now we just have to sort of work on this next episode. We're going to be working on the unstable stable ingots, and I'm going to be showing how to get all of this set up. And then once we do that, it's really just going to be waiting for antimatter and also setting up the singularities, which we'll probably end up doing next episode as well. So guys, with all that, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you'll learn something new. If you did, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you'll be notified when I publish new videos just like this. It seems like YouTube's doing a little bit of a weird thing where it's not necessarily recommending videos, and I think it's because the whole front page of the website was completely changed. But be sure to ring that notification bell so you don't miss out if it, just in case, doesn't get sent out to you. And guys, of course, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below maybe where you're at currently. Have you beat the pack? Have you where are you currently at as far as the progression line on the pyramid? Let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And of course, it's now the time to thank the supporter of today's video, and that huge thanks is going to go to Cody Shebel. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on YouTube, becoming a YouTube member and supporting me. I do appreciate that, and supporting this content that I do put out. And if you guys are interested in supporting as well, all you gotta do is check the little blue join button that is next to the subscribe button, and check that out if you would. And or you could definitely check out the Discord, discord.gg/ChosenArchitect, and join the amazing community over there of over 26,000 members. And growing every single day, where there's tons of help. So if you want to ask some questions, that's a great place to ask questions regarding modded just about anything. Either I'll answer the question or anybody that's in there could answer the question. So it's a great place to definitely get help if you're looking for it, or even find a friend. Guys, I appreciate you watching today. I will see you, of course, in the next episode, as we're getting very, very close to the ultimate end of this mod pack. So I hope to be there with you guys. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. It's getting sifty in here. It's getting sifty and ha. Oh, hey, don't ignore me.